Something interesting is showing up on the Bitcoin chart right now. First of all, Bitcoin has broken out to the upside of our descending broadening wedge on the 4-hour chart. We've already flipped resistance into support. So in the short term, we are beginning to play out a bullish reversal. And right now, Bitcoin is playing out a potential reversal pattern on the daily chart. Looking at the daily chart, we do right now have 3 green consecutive daily candles. And arguably, you could say that this is a 3 white soldiers bullish candlestick reversal pattern. And all of these bullish reversal signals are coming just after we had our Wyckoff spring. And I also want to discuss how the Wyckoff accumulation pattern plays in to the 3 peaked in a domed house long-term price prediction that I have for Bitcoin. And guys, we were in fact the first channel to discuss this pattern. All of this and more in today's video. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Svenson, and today we're going to be discussing some potential bullish reversal signals that the Bitcoin chart is showing right now. Looking at the overview of the market, most of the top cryptocurrencies are seeing a solid bullish reversal today, a nice green day here in the crypto market. And before we get started here, guys, definitely smash up that like button and also subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Now, the first thing I want to talk about here is the 3-day chart for Bitcoin. Check this out. If you're looking at the 3-day chart, we've now spent the most time here sitting between 40 and 30,000 back in the beginning of the year, and now here after our major correction. What this is showing is that we're just spending a lot of time around these areas. In terms of the 3-day chart, traders are settling up just around above and below that $35,000 range. And even right here, just below that $35,000 range. And currently, we're challenging that price right now. So being able to get above this 35K level and turn it into a support range is going to be a huge pivot for the bulls. Now, what's also very interesting is if you take a look at our 1-day chart, the daily chart, this chart showing that previous downward sloping resistance that we were all paying attention to. The last time that we broke above this resistance, we saw a major move up to that 42,000 level. And right now, Bitcoin is challenging it once again. So not only do we have those 3-day candles opening and closing right along that 35K level, we also have the downward sloping resistance. So getting above this and pivoting above it is going to be a pretty important move for the bulls to make if we are going to see a continued recovery. And speaking of the daily chart, we do currently have a potential bullish candlestick pattern that may signal a major bullish reversal for Bitcoin. In this pattern right here, these 3 daily candles could be forming what's known as the 3 white soldiers. And if you're looking at the definition of this candlestick pattern, it says 3 white soldiers is a bullish candlestick pattern that is used to predict the reversal of a current downtrend in the pricing chart. The patterns consist of 3 consecutive long-bodied candlesticks that open within the previous candle's real body. Now you may be saying, wait a minute, opening within the previous candle's real body. If you're looking at this image here again, you can see that it's showing that the open of the next candle is actually down in the middle of the previous candle. But this is a stock market definition, right? In crypto, the market never stops. The market never sleeps. So when the daily candle closes, there's no break in between, the next one opens. So in terms of the crypto market, I would say that the 3 white soldiers definition is correct. And I think that we are playing out this bullish reversal here right now. And there are many examples if you go on Google here, and you'll see a lot of examples just like this on Google. And also, just as we've been discussing for a while here on this channel, also yesterday's video mentioned this, our Wyckoff accumulation pattern has likely entered its final phase. Looking at the chart, it looks like we may have just gotten our final lower low to the spring test. And this means that if this bullish accumulation pattern was going to play out, well, we've just had our final test to the lowest low of the range. And it's interesting that we're getting the 3 white soldiers bullish candlestick reversal pattern right after hitting the spring. And this could mean that Bitcoin would be looking for some bullish continuation from this point on. Something else that's worth mentioning is the S&P 500 on the daily chart. We have just seen a new all-time high for the S&P 500 for the stock market. So contrary to everyone thinking that we were going to see a major collapse, well, at least right now, we're remaining stable. We're remaining very bullish for the stock market. And this is coming alongside the US dollar index finding a lower high on the daily chart. As you can see, the US dollar index has not made a macro higher high since when? Since March, since the COVID-19 pandemic. The the US dollar index has been seeing lower high after lower high after lower high after lower high after lower high. Now, on the contrary, the US dollar index does have a slightly higher low from January going into June. So you could also be arguing that the US dollar index is finding a potential base of support. But as of right now, this does seem like there's an increase of selling pressure with sort of like a flat line of demand for the US dollar, which could ultimately turn into a descending triangle. I don't know if there's any real reason to be bullish on cash right now, as long as the Federal Reserve is not raising interest rates until 2023. I'd say asset prices will likely continue to do well. We see the stock market hitting all-time highs. And I believe that currently the Bitcoin price is being suppressed. So we're seeing a lot of FUD coming out of China. You know, China is renewing their crypto crackdowns. They're making mining operations shut down. And we see that mining companies in China are beginning to move their hardware to other countries. And because of that, we're seeing a huge tumble in the hash rate for Bitcoin. We haven't seen hash rate this low since, October, November of last year. Now, this is likely only temporary because we see that mining companies are moving their hardware and they're going to start, turning on their machines once again once they move their equipment. But likely what's taking place is miners have to sell their Bitcoin to pay for expenses, to pay for moving expenses and all that kind of stuff. So we are seeing whales, miners, selling their Bitcoin, which is causing the price to be suppressed. So I think that the whole mining industry has sort of been putting a lot of downward pressure on the market. Every time Bitcoin comes up, the miners are selling, whales are selling. This is all very temporary stuff. I think, whenever all of this subsides, it's going to be like a balloon underwater looking to get up back to the surface, and we'll probably see a nice bullish reversal. We're already starting to see bullish reversal patterns come into the chart. And also, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we even have this descending broadening wedge pattern, which is a bullish reversal pattern. And we've already broken out to the upside, came back and confirmed it as support, and now rallied. And we actually just recently, before I started making this video, got our first higher high, during this formation. So we are starting to break through this resistance in the shorter term time frames. But really what I want to see is Bitcoin getting above this 3-day candle formation, where we're seeing all these 3-day candles closing and opening here back in January. And recently we're starting to move above it, getting above this area of all these 3-day candles closing, and also getting above our downward sloping resistance. Generally, that is about 35,000. If we can pop up above this, I would say that is a really good move for the bulls, and we'd probably end up seeing a major recovery, of course, following that Wyckoff accumulation pattern. And seeing a recovery like this would allow us to follow this Wyckoff accumulation pattern. And I think that we would be very likely entering the final phase of the recovery. And it seems like every time that I bring up this Wyckoff accumulation pattern, people think that I'm somehow backtracking on my 3 peaks in a domed house chart prediction. But guys, the 3 peaks in a domed house pattern is a large pattern. It's a long-term pattern. This is not a short-term, right? It's completely different. The Wyckoff accumulation pattern is playing into this. It's actually the basement, right? So the Wyckoff accumulation is the basement of the pattern, and the overall pattern is much larger, right? We would be following, like if we take our macro upward sloping trend line, that's, I guess, another thing to keep an eye on, is if this weekly closes above the trend line, that would be a really bullish sign. But the 3 peaks in a domed house pattern, what you would expect from here is a recovery going along with the Wyckoff accumulation recovery, and a move back up to the high of 60,000, followed by some sideways action, and then a punch up to our final mania phase, leading into, potentially a major blow off top or something at the end of the cycle. And that would be this would basically be the end of the pattern. So we would have our first floor at, along that previous high, and then move up to the roof, which could be anywhere in the 6-figure level. So guys, it's a much larger pattern. I'm not backtracking on anything. It's much larger than the Wyckoff accumulation. But anyway, hope you guys understand what I mean. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel if you're new, and be sure to sign up with the Cryptowatch platform. This is the platform you guys see me use in all my videos. It's totally free. Click that link below and sign up now for Cryptowatch, and I'll see you guys in the next video.